Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Before I start, I would like to just say, for my own good, that I have been diagnosed with essential tremors. So I am nowhere as nervous as I might look, and my tremors are nowhere as bad as they may appear because I'm nervous. So having said that, I was the second oldest, the title of my speech, A Life Not Well Lived. I was the second oldest of 5 children. My birth was the first that my father had witnessed, and this manifested itself in the way that he related to me all of his life. As a newborn, I had severe earaches, and I received a tremendous amount of affection and comforting for brief periods of time, for a short period of time. My folks had 4 children, under 4. The last 2 being twins who were born less than 2 years after I was. Things at best were chaotic and unstable. My parents' hardships were significant as they lived in an uninsulated, no central heat, and no running water in an uninsulated country home. My mother had 3 in diapers at the same time, and she spent her days from very early in the morning to very late at night carrying wood, heating water, pumping water, sterilizing bottles, heating bottles, washing and hang drying diapers, preparing meals. So she was a very busy person. Winters in that part of New England were extremely cold. My father worked 2 and sometimes 3 jobs. And, being the second oldest, or the middle child, I had rank on no one. The twins were inseparable, and they were a very formidable foe. In my preteen years, I learned street smarts and survival skills. The relationship with my father was such that as I entered my preteen years, I spent more time with him. On occasion, I could be found at his side doing mechanic work. Through assimilation, I developed an interest in all things mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic, and electrical. And I was to use this the rest of my life. In 1949, we took a family trip to the city. Fitchburg was 10 miles away, and it was dirt roads. My father had a heavy foot, and I am sure we got a late start. We were pulled over. The officer walked up. We were all in a 1932 Model A coupe. And the officer bent down, looked in the window, looked around, stood up, shook his head, and walked away. I guess he did not know how to explain a family of 6 in a 2-person vehicle. I had poor study skills and a lack of direction, and at 16 I dropped out of high school. Being restless and having no sense of direction, I joined the Army. I was put on a bus after seeing my recruiter and being promised construction engineers. I was put on a bus and sent to the induction center in Springfield, Massachusetts, where I was to be tested, sworn in, and sent to Fort Dix, New Jersey on a bus. And towards the end of the day, I noticed something wasn't right. They had changed my school, and I was going to become a combat engineer. This wasn't for me. I knew I wasn't a rocket scientist, but I did know what a skunk smelled like. So after I asserted myself, I was given a bus ticket, sent home, surprised my parents, and saw my recruiter again, and then I was off to be properly processed. I spent 3 years in the Army, a year in Thailand, and duty in Vietnam. I learned bridge building, culvert construction, highway construction, heavy equipment operation and maintenance, and welding. I would like to take the opportunity of taking the things that I learned in Toastmasters and that I've learned my whole life and help others not to make the same mistakes that I made in my life. Thank you.